Tonight on the Fanatic Forum, of course, we're going to show off some new comic books, but we're also going to be deep diving into some projects that I'm looking forward to. Some coming up this year, some coming up next year. But either way, we got some cool stuff to talk about here. So we'll do that right after this. Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your Fanatic and host, George Buehler. We got some cool stuff to show off today and talk about, but yeah, I hope you guys are having yourself a good week. Tell you what, I'm looking very forward to some projects coming out a little bit later on in October, and then a little bit later on this year. And of course, the first 3 episodes of Andor have dropped on Disney Plus, and I've got a lot to say about that one. Plus, an old friend has decided to return to the big screen. That's right, Constantine. And Keanu Reeves is coming back to the role. So this is quite a surprise, but there's more to that. So we'll definitely discuss that. But yeah, we got some comic books to talk about. So all kinds of good stuff. So I certainly hope you all have a good week. And yeah, so, hasn't been too terribly bad or anything. So had some interesting stuff coming to the Collaborative Comics shop that I work at here. Somebody brought in a collection of a lot of the old Marvel Star Wars stuff. So we've got a nice run of some of the first, maybe close to 10 issues. And then, of course, we do have the infamous Boba Fett introduction issue. So, yeah, so lots of cool stuff there and lots of old Daredevil, some Conan too. So, yeah, so if you're in the Elizabethtown area, I recommend going over to Collaborative Comics there. And even if it's on a weekday, you're going to see me. So I'll say hi and all that good thing. So let's see, got a couple. John Pica's on here. Hey there, friends and fanatics. Good to see you, sir. Dave Magley says Marvel Star Wars series was solid stuff. Yes, it is. Good to see you, Mr. Dave. Yeah, and of course, it always amused me that the first, I think, 6 issues of the Star Wars series is literally an adaptation of the movie. And then later on, they get to Empire. And then, of course, towards the end of the series, they get to Return of the Jedi. So, but yeah, I just always thought it just kind of just tickled me. Like, they didn't start immediately with, a new story or whatnot. I was like, they gave us what we had already seen on the big screen. But nonetheless, so, all right, some cool books to show off this week. Only got one DC book. It was kind of unless you're a Harley Quinn fan, it was kind of a light week for me for DC. But Harley Quinn is celebrating her 30th anniversary. And so there's a big spectacular that's out. It's like a $10 thing there with tons of variant covers. So all the Harley Quinn fans are celebrating. But me, I'm reading something different. No offense, but Harley's not my thing. But what is my thing this week here is the next issue of Deceased: War of the Undead Gods. Of course, I always love the DC stuff. Tom Taylor plays in the DC sandbox, and just wreaks havoc. So this is the, 4th chapter in the DC series. Of course, this is apparently supposed to be the end of it as well. Yeah, so what's currently happening is that if you're not familiar with the original DC storyline, this is kind of a zombie tale, but these aren't officially zombies. Darkseid basically has found the anti-life equation and literally broadcast it on everything on Earth. So it didn't matter if you were watching TV, you had your phone on, you were at work on your computer, or you were in the subway car and there's a advertisement screen on there. Everything that had with a video screen projected this equation and just turned everybody into rage monsters, including a lot of superheroes as well. So it was a lot of fighting of that. Then of course eventually come along the series. Don't want to spoil this now for a little bit, but come along the series that there is a bit of a cure that's found out, and so now we're reaping the benefits of that, thankfully. But the biggest hurdle is that on Apocalypse, Yeah, all the new gods and the old gods and everybody on there, they all were infected, and now they're here. So it's bad. But either way, so perhaps Sinestro and some of the Green Lanterns will be of service this issue, but we shall see. But yeah, it's pretty good stuff, and it's definitely worth a look there. John's saying that World's Finest is the DC book. World's Finest is the best DC book on shelves right now. I keep hearing a lot of that. I hear it's kind of a lot of like a bit of a throwback book, as Mark Waid's writing it, so it's not really necessarily connected into current continuity. So it has a little bit more of a fun kind of feel to it, a little less darker sort of thing like that, a little less bogged down with the kind of with, I guess, with a lot of the other mythology that's going on right now. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, John, but that's kind of what I'm also, seeing on there. Also, you're digging DC versus vampires. Yes. Pretty much, there hasn't been a current issue except for the All Out War miniseries, which that's been pretty good so far. But it's kind of, it's definitely, I'm waiting for the next issue of the regular series, which should be coming pretty soon. I think perhaps next week the new issue comes out. So either way, I'm ready. I'm ready for the rest of the series because they've kind of given us a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a break and everything to let people catch up. And they put out some miniature trades too. That if you missed the first 6 issues of DC versus Vampires, then there's too many trades that kind of collected those, and you can catch up a little bit. So either way, so let's see here. Yeah, you've only read through issue 6. Issue 7 should be coming out. I think it is this week it's coming out. So, of course, I've actually really been enjoying the Dark Crisis series that's going on in DC right now. So, actually, DC's been, busting out some really good events. Not a big fan of the Marvel AXE stuff, even though I will admit the 5th issue came out this week, and it was the most readable of the whole series. So, it was literally the most exciting one. So, issue 6 is the next one, but there's a lot of tie-ins that come in next. So I think issue 6 doesn't drop until actually November, but we'll see how it wraps up. But what I'm really looking forward to for big Marvel events coming up is Jason Aaron wrapping up his run on Avengers, which actually we will get to that right now because we had 2 Avengers books come out this week here, the current issue of Avengers and of course Avengers Forever, which Avengers Forever is still tying into what's been going on with the multiversal hunt for Avengers to help out. And so in this case, we are basically introducing to the core of Carols because there are a whole lot of Carol Danvers out there in the multiverse. And the good news is that they're all finding each other. But this particular issue focuses on a particular Carol who seems to be bogged down with a lot of people trying to keep her down who literally are trying to keep her from flying. And as we all know, our Carol was meant to fly. So awesome issue here, especially if you're a big Carol Danvers fan here. This is a good book. With the Avengers issue, this is actually taking a break from the current multiversal stuff going on and basically serving as a tie-in to the current Judgment Day stuff going on for AXE. This is basically Hawkeye's judgment, essentially. And the Celestial likes to take different forms when it's making its judgments. And so in this case, it takes the form of Natasha. So, yeah, an interesting issue here that really just 100% solely focuses on Hawkeye, which Hawkeye hasn't played much of a big thing in, he's part of the Avengers, he's there, but he hasn't really been serving as a big contributor to the whole Judgment Day thing going on. He's literally kind of maintaining street level sort of stuff like that. So yeah, we shall see. But it reminded me a little bit of the Matt Fraction run of Hawkeye, where it was more of an amusing take on things. He's certainly not taking the whole thing seriously because Clint never does. But yeah, so I got a kick out of it. It was a nice kind of meta issue, I thought. John, on the other hand, did not like the issue. You hated it, said it made 0 sense. So, I don't know, there we go. So, see, everybody's got a different opinion, and I welcome all opinions on here. So, let's see, going back here, missing some comments. Oh, I had like Moon Knight fighting Commodore Planet again. I got a kick out of that. That was fun. Yeah. Let's see here. And John said you did get those trades for the DC versus Vampires. Yeah, and those were cool covers too. One looked like the Breakfast Club, but it was all the vampire characters kind of posing the same way. And the other one was a homage to the Lost Boys, which of course that's perfect right there since it's a vampire story anyway. But yeah, and Dave, you're crossing your fingers for an Avengers book. Yes, or Avengers, or is it or Avengers? You know, because I think there's one with spelling with an I either way. But yeah. I would like a nice, a luggage, a nice, I can't remember. They even named all the different Avengers characters. Like there's, I don't know if it's like Hawk Guy or Arrow Guy or whatever else, and then it's like the Incredible Purple and yeah, I don't know. Oh, you guys aren't watching She-Hulk, man. I tell you what, y'all are missing out, man. It's a lot of it's. We'll get close. When we get to the end of the series, I'm going to bring Kelly and Andrea back on here, and we will continue our She-Hulk discussion here. But yeah, this week's episode was really good. Kind of nice little self-contained episode, taking a break from kind of the other bigger stuff going on, but still leading us, like somebody's looking for She-Hulk and trying to get some samples of her DNA or whatever else to do evil stuff. So yeah. So but anyway, yeah, loving She-Hulk right now. So y'all need to be watching that here. Johnny says, if you're a fan of classic Teen Titans, this month's World's Finest is for you. Okay. Well, I was actually going to check it out. I mean, I work in a comic book store. I'm kind of looking for some new stuff to read right now. So I will check out World's Finest. Thank you, Johnny. And also saying She-Hulk is fun. Yeah, and of course, yeah, I definitely know she's your favorite. Yeah. I'm really enjoying how they've portrayed She-Hulk on the show as well. So yeah, very much enjoying that. So one last Marvel book to share with you guys. This issue of Strange, number 6. If all the Wongers fans out here, this is an awesome issue because it really focuses on Wong for this time. Of course, he's still involved with Clea and helping her serve as a current Sorcerer Supreme. I've really been enjoying this run here. This is Jed McKay doing his jazz here, but this is definitely Wong and Bats down here, the ghost dog. Bit of a detective story here, but yeah, you definitely get a slice of life of what it's like to be Wong and him doing his things here. And of course, he's trying to be a detective on this as well. Leading into the further stuff going on with this organization that is basically using magic against magic users and magical beings and whatnot, but also blending it with technology. So that's what's been going on there. Also, there's apparently this character named the Soul Reaper who's kind of working for Death itself, that going out and taking down people, but bit of a surprise of who that one is. So, of course, if you've been reading the regular Doctor Strange book and kind of keeping up with things, the clues were there, but when it still happened, it was fun. So, again, really enjoying the current run of Strange right now with Clea being in charge. So, yes, yeah, and of course, it's a Doctor Strange book that does not include Doctor Strange. So, yeah, Clea's in charge, and there's, the rest of the cast is there. But, yeah, so very good stuff here. John says sold. Yeah, I love Bats the Ghost Dog. Probably one of my favorite side characters of the Doctor Strange mythos in the last several years. I mean, it's a basset hound that died but is serving as a ghost. I mean, he doesn't have any special abilities or anything like that. He's just a ghost. So I mean, I can walk through walls and stuff like that. But he's just a ghost dog. So he just hangs out and does dog things like everybody else does. You just don't have to worry about feeding him or him, getting sick and dying because he's already dead. But so yeah, ghost dog. There you go. And also not a reference to the film Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai, but there you go. Johnny says, Red Issue Woman didn't pick up the others. All right, there you go. So, yeah, you have to check it out. All right, so on the indies right now, lots of fun books this week here. From Image, the final issue of Beware of the Eye of Odin. As I've said before, I've been loving this entire series here, and it's just, goofy, fantasy fun here, lots of action, but it's definitely taken a bit of a nudge, wink sort of thing to it here. So yeah, just absolutely love to hear. Maybe there's more to come, but right now this is the 4th and final issue of it, but it does not disappoint. So absolutely been loving this book here. Number 1 for this week here, and this is a big one here. And of course, I normally don't get variants, or usually I'm just kind of a cover A sort of guy, but I could not pass up this one here. Boom gives us The Stuff of Nightmares, and this is a Francesco Francavilla. I almost said Franco. Yeah, Francesco Francavilla cover here. This is a variant. This is the cover B or C, I think. This one's kind of hard to get, so get to your shop now before they run out, because we already did it clobbering. And of course, you can tell there. So you can see a little bit. You can see the Stuff of Nightmare stuff there, but it is a glow in the dark cover there. So yeah, this is basically R.L. Stine as the writer on here. Yes, that R.L. Stine. Boom Entertainment is bringing us, or Boom Studios, I'm sorry, is bringing us this issue here with art by A.L. Kaplan. But this is a retelling of the Reanimator tale. So yeah, the one with Jeffrey Combs, where he's based on the H.P. Lovecraft story. I think it was the strange case of oh gosh, my Lovecraftian friends are going to kill me now, but yeah. It's all the Lovecraft story, different title, everything like that. This is sort of a retelling of that, still the same concept, but in a different way. And at first I thought, I don't know, I'm not so sure about it, but I'm on board. Yeah, first issue was really fun, really good here. It is a bit of a gory book, so just a warning for horror fans out there. So yeah, just to let you know. So AJ says that cover is gorgeous. Oh, you need to get to your local shop, sir. There you go. Yeah. Johnson's waiting on the trade for Odin. Actually, hang on a second here. I think it's November that's coming out. Oh, December 14th. So there you go, Johnny. December 14th, trade's coming out. So yeah, if you're gonna do that, do that. Yeah, that's a fun book there. Dave says that Bats meeting Spider-Man is one of the best exchanges ever in Strange. Yes, absolutely. Here, so oh god. Let's see here. Yeah, glow in the dark Cthulhu. Well, it's not really. It's not so much a Cthulhu cover as it is basically people being ripped apart by zombies or dead things. So, yeah. See, Johnson's picked up Forever Forward. I'm not familiar with that one here. I'll have to check that one out. Boom has a patent on making comics based on childhood loves. Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course. If you're reading anything Boom, they've got I think 4 Power Rangers books out right now. Of course, their big stuff right now is Berserker, which is a good book. Something is Killing the Children, which I'm waiting on issue 26 for that one. But yeah, AJ's right, man. They have got a lot of stuff going on. So another fun book from Image here, and this is a superstar team here. But this is Vanish, done by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. This is a cool cover. I was very torn between getting this one or the cover B, which was done by Daniel Warren Johnson, which of course I love his stuff anyway. Talk about his stuff, especially Jurassic League. But anywho, this story, I don't want to give too much away if you don't want to know too much, but this is a bit of magic, a bit of superheroes, but it's essentially kind of a Harry Potter-ish story if it was more of a gritty revenge tale. So, yeah. So I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, I was very drawn by the team and by this cover. Didn't know too much about it, so it's kind of fun going into it. So that's kind of what I want to give too much away to you guys. But yeah, the less you know, so that it's don't dig too much. Just go buy this book. Yeah, so I'm very intrigued on issue 2 to reading the rest of the series. So yeah, John's with me there. Donny Cates. I mean, come on, he's doing Hulk and Thor right now and killing it on both books. And he's got all his other things he's done there. God Country, love that book. I'm waiting for the next crossover to come out. So yeah, let's see here. Ooh, what'd you get, AJ? Full set of Saga of Swamp Thing. Nice. That's a good friend to have there. Yeah. That's I agree with you, AJ. It's always exciting when you see Donny Cates on the cover. That is sure. Oh, there we go. Good to see you, Johnny. Have a good one there. I guess going to do another ghost tour, so have a good tour. Hopefully, the ghost hunter or ghost walkers get spooked, but nothing. Nothing goes out there. Nothing too bad. I don't know. Have a good time. Don't get haunted too much. I mean, it's a ghost tour, so you got to do that. God, I can't talk tonight, so I'm just gonna let that one go. Last thing I want to share with you guys here. I don't normally do the super duper variants because I'm just not a working man. Anyway, but I had to get this one here because it's super awesome. This is the 1 in 10 for this month's issue of G.I. Joe, number 298, which we only have 2 more issues left, and then it's gone. Anywho, but yeah, I couldn't pass this one up here. So yeah, lovely there. So your local shop may have this issue there, but usually those are gone. But yeah, so sorry, Clobbering fans and G.I. Joe. I'm the one that took it. So and Johnny's got a corporate magic gig. All right, well, then break a leg then. Yeah. Snake Eyes parajumping. I know this is a very heavy Snake Eyes issue too. So, and of course, the whole concept that this last storyline called All In. Dr. Mindbender has tried to go the whole Serpentor route again. He wants to bring back another great leader and to lead Cobra into the future, that sort of thing like that. But he said, you know what? Maybe the method I tried last time with Serpentor with making all these great leaders into one guy, and they kind of just drove him nuts. Let's not do that. Maybe let's just go with one leader. So he picks Genghis Khan. Yeah, he just brought Genghis Khan back to life. And not only that, he also instilled in him all updated on our modern technology, weaponry, culture, customs, everything else. He's still Genghis Khan. He's still, I'm the mighty Khan and I do what I want and, all that kind of thing like that. But he's, better. Yeah. So either way, I'm a little worried about that one. And nonetheless, so I'm looking forward to seeing how the series is going to Genghis Khan. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the tale is going to end up here. But of course, Dark Horse Comics apparently has taken the license for G.I. Joe, and they're going to do something different with it. I would love to see them do something new and cool, but at the same time, I would also really like to see them just bring Larry Hama back and maybe he could do something different with this. I don't know. I'm very much torn because I love Larry Hama on the book. I'm excited to see something different, but at the same time, I love Larry Hama on the book. So there we go. So we shall see how that turns out. But I guess next year is when we can expect Dark Horse to take over. So either way, so we're going to take a break for just a second to give a little love to our sponsor, but then we'll be right back and we're going to deep dive into some cool stuff here. So be right back.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.
All right, welcome back, folks. Okay, so got a couple of projects that are upcoming here. Of course, a little bit of this DC, or not DC, Disney Plus stuff here. But yeah, a few things I'm definitely looking forward to. So, oh, hang on, I gotta get this one here. Dave's saying, for a book named G.I. Joe, there's very little gastrointestinal medicine. It's not that kind of GI. General issues and, military stuff. Dave. Good one, though. Not that GI. Everybody's got bubble guts in the pit. All right, gotta get back on track here. All right. So definitely one project coming up here. I guess the most recent one would be Werewolf by Night. If you guys have not seen this trailer yet, I highly, highly recommend doing so. It looks amazing. This is the first offering that the Disney Plus is doing in their special presentations. The other one we can expect later on this year will be the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which is supposedly kind of going to lead us right into Guardians 3. But nonetheless, this is definitely has it's going to be longer than an episode of a Disney Plus show, but it will be shorter than a feature film. So it's kind of, maybe we're looking at maybe, an hour and 10, hour and 15, maybe. I don't know. So, but either way, so this is going to be, like I said, a little bit less than than a feature film, but, so either way, I'm looking very forward to it. The style of everything being in black and white and having a gritty kind of like, drive-in grindhouse kind of feel to it is amazing. The fact that not only are we definitely going to meet the Werewolf by Night, whether it's the Jack Russell character or some of the later, people to come along here, we'll find out that. We're definitely going to see Elsa Bloodstone, and also we finally get to see the Man Thing. So we have not seen the Swamp Thing in any DC projects or anything like that, outside of the comic books or whatever else. But to finally get to see the Man Thing, which is a very similar character, but also very different. But yeah, so just giant green leafy swampy thing. I just realized what I did there. But yeah, of course, the big difference is that this one has much more of a mystical connection to things. And of course, the slogan is that whoever knows fear burns at the touch of the Man Thing. So yeah, he's real big on that whole spontaneous combustion sort of stuff there, but he just makes other people do it for him. So let's see here. Dave's saying the same thing. Also, of course, a lot of people are really hoping that maybe we'll get like a Moon Knight sort of cameo, seeing as, the first time we actually met Moon Knight in the comic books was an issue of Werewolf by Night because somebody sent Mark Spector out after Jack Russell. So I also thought it was very interesting that the werewolf character is named after a breed of dog. So I don't know whether that was on purpose or not. AJ saying that he looks really good. Gives a classic Universal horror vibe. Yeah, definitely. Of course, yeah. Like I said, we barely saw Man Thing. Like there's one instance where Gail Garcia Bernal gets like grabbed from a bush by a big thing, and then like we see kind of like a superimposed image of its face. So like, we don't even see a full frontal image of the Man Thing. We just see little glimpses of it, but Marvel fans already know, and I know when I saw it too, and I definitely popped. So yeah. So since Man Thing's going to be in the series, crossing fingers we'll get a Howard the Duck cameo. We got last time we saw Howard, he was locked up in the Collector's stuff, and then he was in What If as well. But yeah, either way. So, but What If's not connected, or it's in the multiverse stuff. So last time we saw Duck Howard, he was in the Collector's collection, so to speak, after it got wrecked. So we know he's alive. But yeah, did Howard get to Earth somehow? So yeah, but that would be a lot of fun to get the Howard the Duck pop up there too. So yeah, AJ saying really curious to see what kind of skill Michael Giacchino's considering. Yeah, a very amazing composer. If you're not familiar, he most recently did the score for the Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman film, which I absolutely love that score. Love that Batman theme he did. So yeah, I'm right there with you, AJ. So yeah, he's multi-talented. He wrote, directed this, and he's a composer. So geez, he's got a lot. He's very John Carpenter-esque there. You go, watch out, folks. He's a one-man army. So, but yeah, so we will definitely see that. So let's see here. Another project I'm definitely looking forward to coming up towards the end of November, kind of an early Christmas gift for us, is the Willow sequel series. And yes, this is, if you have not seen the full trailer yet, this is a direct sequel to the movie that came out in the early 80s. It does have returning Warwick Davis and Joanne Whaley reprising their roles respectively. And apparently Val Kilmer is involved in this film somehow. Not entirely sure, how. Of course, if you're familiar with his recent condition, he had throat cancer. So he has, he can speak, but it's not his actual very good voice. It's, very gravelly, kind of similar if you saw Top Gun Maverick. yeah, that's a very good indication of how his voice sounds there, even though that actually wasn't him speaking in the movie. They had something dubbed over, but yeah, nonetheless. But apparently Val is somewhat involved in this movie, so we'll see. But of course, this kind of involves a lot of legacy characters. If you see the trailer, you know that basically they had a daughter, Mad Mardigan, and the Queen. I can't remember what her name is, but anyway, they had a kid, and apparently there's some trouble again, and they need some help from an old friend. So lots of returning characters we may see here. And of course, interesting is that Christian Slater has apparently joined the cast of this show, and they haven't announced who he's playing, but there he is. He's in the movie. He's in the not movie. He's in the series somehow. So the series does start on Disney Plus November 30th. So looking very forward to that one here. One that's currently out right now. Star Wars fans, you know us. Andor here. This is a prequel to series to Rogue One, so we get to meet the character, a little more in depth of Captain Andor, and this is basically, of course, a few years before the events of Rogue One. I believe it's like I said, 5 years before the Battle of Yavin 5, so Yavin 4. I'm sorry, and so we get a little bit of backstory on him. Of course, we are definitely seeing the building blocks of the rebellion here. The Empire barely even looks like the Empire that we've seen in A New Hope, where they have not gone. They're very soft at this point. They don't think there's any competition. No one's trying to really bother them or do anything. And then slowly but surely, we're certainly seeing that there is some ruffians afoot that want to do away with the Empire here. But this is supposed to be a 12-ish episode series, and the first 3 dropped this week. I love this so far. Rogue One is probably one of my favorites it probably is my favorite of the most recent Star Wars films that have come out in the last few years. This definitely captures the feel of Rogue One. This is very gritty. This is real world stuff. Right now, there is no Force. There is no Jedi. Right now, we just got normal people, and the Empire is a problem here. So, but yeah. So there's a very mysterious character that Stellan Skarsgård is playing that may be linked to the rebellion. We don't know just yet. Of course, I think we're seeing an early version of Mon Mothma later on. Of course, she's later on the leader of the rebellion. So we'll see, kind of how she maybe becomes goes into that role, or just seeing kind of early version of her. Either way, so yes, I'm very, very much enjoying this series right now. I know there's some people have, some people haven't for whatever reasons, but yeah, I love seeing different sides of Star Wars. That's why I've been enjoying The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. So just different sides of the Star Wars universe, different time periods, and I've always been fascinated with this early pre-rebellion time period. So yeah, of course, you don't really get to see that too much. We finally get little glimpses of it in Rogue One, but now we get to have a much longer stay here. So yeah, I'm just really, really happy with the series right now. So very much enjoying it. Let's see here. AJ says, haven't watched Andor yet, but watching as soon as possible. Yeah, so like I see, first 3 episodes are out right now, and there's 12 total in the series. So yeah, lots of good stuff to look forward to. Lots more to come here. So, of course, one series that we do know is coming later on in 2023, probably in the spring, that we've seen a full trailer for, The Secret Invasion, a Marvel Studios series here. I've been looking very much forward to this one here, because we are definitely back into kind of the gritty spy, sort of espionage sort of stuff. So if you're a big fan of like the Winter Soldier movie, the Captain America one, this is definitely for you. Of course, we're focusing almost completely on Nick Fury, even though we're getting, a lot of other, former S.H.I.E.L.D. people. Kobe Smulders coming back as Maria Hill. Of course, we get a little bit of Avengers people, coming in here with Don Cheadle reprising his role as James Rhodes, aka War Machine. Of course, we get Ben Mendelsohn coming back as Talos, the Skrull. So we get a few returning faces here, but we get a lot of new people in here. Amelia Clark is in this. We saw a very short glimpse of her in the trailer, but there's 2 very important roles that I'm one of 2 she could be. One, of course, is the Skrull Queen, who is kind of the main problem. Possibly in the comics, she was the main problem. of this particular invasion here, and definitely the leader behind it all. Or she could be, we could finally get an introduction of Jessica Drew, the Spider-Woman character, which we may not get the spider powers. We may get kind of an early version of her as more of kind of a secret agent sort of thing. I don't know just yet, but yeah, either way. So lots of speculation on this series here of what we're going to see. I am not familiar of how many episodes we're going to get in this one here. I don't know if this is going to be like a 6-episode sort of thing, or if we get fewer or we get more. I don't know. I'm assuming length of the shows are going to be an hour long, around the 45 to hour length. But yeah, a lot of questions here because, of course, the storyline in the comics is that there is this Skrull faction who have become kind of very religious and fanatical sort of thing like that, and that has kind of almost strengthened their convictions to come and invade Earth and take over. And so they literally invade every facet where they're, people in government, people in crime syndicates, superheroes, supervillains, everybody was a Skrull. And so it became, very much kind of an invasion of the body snatchers sort of thing. Who could you trust sort of thing. And of course, the Skrulls classically, their biggest flaw in trying to detect who they really were, usually Reed Richards could come up with some kind of, device to see which one's a Skrull, or like Wolverine could sniff out the difference. These, on the other hand, were far more convincing shapeshifters. So you couldn't tell the difference until essentially the character died and then, or was mortally wounded in some way, shape, or form, and they lost the ability to shapeshift, and therefore they would go back to their original form. So, but yeah, there was a lot of that going on here. Of course, we also saw a lot of superheroes who we thought were dead somehow returning, but they apparently had been replaced by Skrulls. So a lot of that going on. Whether or not we're going to be seeing any returning faces, I don't know. I think they're going to be taking a lot of different turns from the storyline, keeping though some of the initial stuff here where we have a group of Skrulls who are trying to take over, but whether or not we're going to see all devices of the storyline or not remains to be seen here. So we will see here. AJ is really hoping for Jessica as one of her favorite heroes. So yeah, we will certainly see about that one here. Seeing Jessica's pregnancy arc was amazing. Yeah, Jessica Drew was running around pregnant with her child and still doing superhero stuff here. So Secret Invasion is definitely one of AJ's favorites. That is a good book. Oh man, yeah. So definitely one of my favorite Marvel storylines. So of course that is collected in trade paperback, which you can get that a lot easier than you can get the individual issues and all the tie-ins and stuff like that. But yeah, so I highly recommend checking that one out if you have not read Secret Invasion. Kind of get your prep for the show next year. So yeah, so whether do a comparison, see how they work out here. Last but not least, this was announced last week. Constantine is making a comeback with Keanu Reeves returning to the big screen in a second film. Have no idea what storyline with script or anything they're going with. When the 2005 film came out, there was talk of doing a sequel initially. There were a few scripts that were floating around. Whether or not they go with any of those remains to be seen. But the team of Francis Lawrence as the director and Keanu Reeves as the star are coming back. I don't know if the running team is coming back or not, but the main creatives behind this are coming back. But it's very interesting to me because, of course, since the film was released in 2005, Matt Ryan has come into the role. He's basically started off in the NBC series, which lasted a season, and then that character was absorbed into the CW Arrowverse. And of course, he was on Legends of Tomorrow and made cameos on other shows. And then, of course, they did some animated series as well that would feature Constantine or have Constantine cameos, and Matt Ryan would reprise the role for that. So Matt Ryan has basically been Constantine for quite some time now. And, no offense to Keanu Reeves, but he's far more accurate to the character than Keanu Reeves was. The movie I thought was good. But of course, being a Constantine fan, being a Hellblazer fan, the storylines they were adapting, it's like there was a lot of big moments a lot of big beats that they left out. Of course, changing the ending was kind of bogus too. I mean, basically the whole thing is that John's dying of cancer. His soul is damned. He is going to hell. He kind of sold that off and that sort of thing a long time ago. So he's trying to avoid doing that. And of course, the movie kind of adapts some of that. But the big funny thing was that at the end, Lucifer does rip the cancer out of his body. He does live. And then the last shot is him sitting on the rooftop. Of course, in the movie, they kind of fake you out with makes it look like he's, packing, pack of cigarettes, getting ready to have, open it up, and it's a pack of gum. Oh, okay, he's changed. No. In the book, John lights a cigarette. He has learned nothing. His health hit the restart button, but you know what? He's like, screw it. I'm just gonna be me. So, and of course, John's a lot more shifty and conniving and manipulative, and he's also a drunk, and he's also gender fluid. None of which was really alluded to in Constantine, even though you could tell he was kind of a mess. But yeah, so I'm curious if there's going to be any kind of growth to the character into the form that we know him from seeing the other shows and from what we know from the comics, or if they're kind of I don't know. I'm very curious how they're going to take it. I know there's a lot of fans who don't read the comics or aren't familiar with the Arrowverse stuff, who just enjoy the movie, are very excited that he's coming back, and rightfully so. They enjoy the movie, so there you go. But to those of us who kind of gripe that, well, we don't get a comic accurate Constantine, and then we have, now we're going back to the one who isn't. I don't know. So we shall see. So, and see, and AJ, you're saying the same thing here. Really wish we weren't getting this, honestly, because Matt Ryan's Constantine always felt much more Constantine to me than Keanu. Yeah. And you're not even a fan of the movie. So there you go. But I mean, personally, my wife is a fan of the movie. I know other people who are fans of the movie that aren't, big, fans of the comics or even aren't familiar with those. So they're excited about it. So that's the thing. It's really a split decision sort of thing. Some people are excited about this. Like, oh, that's awesome. He's doing this again. Because the funny thing is that Keanu really enjoyed the role, enjoyed the movie, and has been wanting to do a sequel for quite some time. But apparently Francis Lawrence has had other things to do. The studio maybe didn't want to do it. Of course, then Keanu found other success with the John Wick films, and then doing other Matrix sequels later on. So because he did the first Matrix, then Constantine, and then the Matrix sequels kind of came later on. So he had other things going on. I don't know. What do you guys think? Does everybody agree with AJ? Does everybody agree with me? Are you excited about Constantine, the movie, part 2? So I don't know what they're going to call it yet right now, but they literally just announced we're going to do another one. So whether or not the script has even been written, we have no idea if any other cast members are returning. According to IMDb, Peter Stormare is returning. So, but I haven't heard any other further announcements about it. But if he's going to come back as Lucifer, that's cool by me. He was awesome in it. That's the thing too. I liked how they portrayed the angels in there. That basically that Michael was played by Tilda Swinton. We had some demons that had Gavin Rossdale Bush played a demon, and he was actually good. I've never seen him in any other movies since then, but he was actually good in that movie playing a demon. So he was very smarmy, snotty kind of rich boy sort of demon sort of thing. But yeah, so there you go. Thank you, Dave, for chiming in here. You are a big fan of the Constantine film and looking forward to the sequel. So there you go. So we have all sorts of opinions here on the Fanatic Forum, and that's the beauty of it. So, yeah, so there you go. So everybody's kind of doing their own thing there. So, like I said, I'm curious. I can't say I will judge after I've seen a trailer. Let's put it that way. I'm very much, I don't want to prejudge something, until I've seen something, So, give me a trailer, we'll see how it goes. So, yeah. And see, and AJ is glad that Dave is excited for the movie. So there you go. So we're all happy about it. All right. Well, that's all I've got wrapped up for this week here. So, of course, I enjoyed so much your all's comments and chiming in on things here and your opinions. So that's what we all are about here in the Fanatic Forum here. So, if you know somebody who loves the geeky stuff that like we do here, and they're not watching Fanatic Forum here, you know what? Share it. Let them know about it here. Spread the word. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. So, yeah. Share the love here. And of course, we are all part here of the Back of the Cereal Box Network here. So definitely got to give some love to all my cereal box, fellow boxers, boxites. We need a name. Anyway, our flagship show is Back of the Cereal Box on Saturday mornings at 9. Johnny celebrates all that is Saturday morning culture. So we talk about, cartoons all the time, cereal, showing off toys and comics, stuff like that. So, and of course, they talk about all sorts of stuff too. That's a lot of fun. Of course, we've got the Ice Cream Queens. They're Sunday nights. They're definitely talking about like horror and true crime stuff and spooky things and whatever else. So they're an awesome show. My buddies Kelly and Crayley and Andrea over at the Cosplay Cafe. Actually, they're on tonight, I believe. Let's think about 9:00, whatnot. So tune in to them later on tonight. So they obviously talk about all things cosplay. They talk about how to make stuff, talking about things they've gone as, things they've worn, how to do things, and of course they get topical as well, talking about cosplay being welcome for everybody here, and body image issues and all sorts of things that kind of go in there. So, of course, we don't want to forget, and I quote my buddy Ryan Permisson. Also, he and Crayley have the show Comic Books: The New Class, which I was just on that this week, talking about indie comics. So, Cryptid Crunch also on Sunday nights. So that's a lot of fun as well. So there's so much to enjoy on the Back of the Cereal Box Network, along with the Fanatic Forum. You can't forget me. So check those other guys out here. Support your friends, as my friend Ryan would always say here. I'm not going to hashtag it because I don't do that. I'm 40 plus years old. I don't hashtag things. Anywho, so share the love of the Fanatic Forum, share the love of the Cereal Box Network here. Next week, got my buddy Seth coming back here because we've got a fun experience to do tomorrow. We're going to Nashville to do a live Impact Wrestling show. So actually tonight they have got their pay-per-view for Victory Road, and then of course they've got TV tapings for the next couple of weeks for kind of the fallout of that. But we are on the road for Bound to Glory after the show tonight. So looking forward to that show here. So maybe we'll get some interviews. Hopefully we can, fingers crossed. But either way, we will have a report for you. Should be a good time for some wrestling stuff. And of course, other geeky things as well. So we'll see what pops up. But you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend and a wonderful evening. And I will see you next time on the Fanatic Forum. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.